To shock of God. You believe that God has orchestrated a divine plan, that He's not only included you in this plan, but you are a main part of it. You believe that God has gifted the world with this plan, with you as its main component. You also believe that God is perfect and sovereign, and as such, you believe that as mere human beings we have no right to question God, His plan, and why God would consider you such an important part of His perfect plan. And anyone who questions your God, His perfect plan, or the inclusion of the pile of festering amphibian shit that is you in His perfect plan is just highlighting how imperfect these arrogant Santa Claus-loving sinners really are. So, that in mind, I want to take a moment to remind you what this plan essentially is, because I think you rarely afford yourself the opportunity to step back and take a look at this plan as a whole. So without further ado, here it is. God's perfect plan for Shock of God and His fucked up ministry on YouTube and Blog Talk Radio. That checklist in the sky. Have a look. Create a YouTube account and fashion a catchy name for yourself. Check. To develop your ministry, take advantage of the fact that creationist Christians are a notoriously defeated demographic on YouTube. Do this by taking the usual bigoted, fundamentalist, subtly put hate speech and amplify it. Check. Make sure that your message appeals not only to the garden variety, confused, impressionable Christians, those who only want to get their message across and have people subscribe to their faith, but also to the craziest hate-mongering criminals on YouTube. Check. To further unify your brood, put together a Blog Talk Radio program. Make the focus of this program false information on evolution, subtle hatred of atheism, and homophobia. And don't forget to exploit your fellow Christians' ignorance on science and history. Check. There are Christians on YouTube that are very weak-minded and may need evidence to vindicate their faith. And since there is none, like we should need it, claim there is evidence. Truckloads of it. Don't bother to say what that evidence is. These poor souls only need to know that there is evidence out there. Check. It's extremely important to combat the voice that the atheists have on YouTube. So why not organize a group of Christians who are willing and able to blindly follow your agenda on YouTube to silence the godless masses? Check. Dub this group the Alliance of Christ. Claim that this group's purpose is to combat the godless horde for the glory of God. Make sure and support the members of your group, no matter what their actions might be. Check. Befriend the most militant members of your alliance, particularly those who hate homosexuals, atheists, and anyone who is critical of your agenda. Even those militant members who may post videos containing songs such as Slay the Faggots, and those that claim to be part of a Christian militia and intimidate non-believers with death threats. These Christians will be useful in carrying out your righteous illegal activities and influence others to do the same. Check. You must make your own videos, reminding YouTube that Jesus loves homosexuals, atheists, and people who disagree with your agenda. Check. To help counter the inevitable onslaught of videos that are critical of you and your faith, urge these non-believers to call into your show and challenge you. And when they do, make sure to ask them questions that you won't let them answer. If they happen to provide a decent argument, make sure and talk over them. Use distracting sound effects and cut them off whenever possible. Use whatever dishonesty you can muster to make them look bad in front of your audience. This way, no one in your audience can see that you actually have no idea what you're talking about. Check. It may come to pass that members of your alliance can see that you're exploiting them for your righteous plan, and they may leave your group. This may be due to atheists and Christians providing evidence of hatred and illegal activity committed by your more militant members. Never fear. There are ways to distract your Christian flock from your more unsavory members. 2 words: Santa syndrome. Check. To further combat your atheist enemies, demand that they provide proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. Never mind that you have yet to provide proof and evidence for your own faith. And never mind atheists can actually answer this question effectively. Just keep in mind that you can ignore their answers. Your flock is, after all too eager to believe that atheists cannot provide that proof and evidence. Check. And when all is said and done, you have shared your message with as many people as you could. You have shown everyone that knows of your existence that you are part of God's divine plan. To hell with anyone who sees you for what you really are. A sad little king on a sad little hill. Check.